Then went back up, continued on up through upstate New York into, stop it. Oh. Yeah, so 4th of July. We're in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, and we stopped in. Again, this was an item on Pete's bucket list. He wanted to stop in at Alice's restaurant. But Alice's restaurant is now closed, but we went to the Guthrie Center, to the church. Remember the song? But the downstairs was filled with garbage, so we thought our neighbor would be singing the whole thing. So they were selling things, including stickers for the Group W bench. So and we were all sitting there on a Group W bench. So this was this is a sign posted in there. Dedication: one God, many forms; one river, many streams; one people, many faces; one mother, many children. This is for a Vietnam vet to spend Independence Day celebrating the fact that anybody can satirize whatever they want in this country, and 50 years later we can all come together and just celebrate our freedom. I thought was a very special deal. So that was a wonderful memory on the trail. I'm going to have to run through these pretty quickly now because we're getting close to back up there. That was the entry to Hanover. Rotary sign on the welcome sign, so we're happy about that. Mount Moosilauke, heading into the White Mountains. When we got to the top, pretty miserable. Again, not a lot of view. The White Mountains in New Hampshire, this is where it started really getting tough. Lots of vertical change. They don't call it the Granite State for nothing. There's a lot of rock there. Stop. The area ahead has the worst weather in America. Many have died there from exposure, even in summer. Turn back now if the weather is bad. Yeah, we get the weather. It wasn't bad. We got there on a decent day. It was just windy and 6,288 feet on top of, and then going through the presidential range in the Whites. And a few weeks later, August 2nd, at the Maine border, the last state, Maine was the toughest, but the most beautiful, the most rugged, certainly the most remote, had the least amount of cell coverage. Parts of the trail just straight up in a rock scramble. Parts so steep you had to have iron things put into the rock face in order to get up. That's looking back down at one of our other friends coming up as he's scrambling up the hill. Again, more vertical stuff. That's Mahoosuc Notch. Lots of lakes. Went swimming a number of times. You drop your pack and strip off your clothes. Oh, just so wonderful. And at night, the sun would go down and the loons would come out. Woo! Woo! Just imagine. The loons are just outstanding. Yeah. Maine also was the only place where we had stream crossings, and we had 7 of them. So take off. It slows you down. You're climbing on a given pace, but you got to stop. Take off your shoes. Put on your wadings if you got them, and then continue on across. Our first sight at Mount Katahdin in the background there, and it just looms out of the ground. A lot of other places, like in the Whites, you're up at elevation the whole time. Mount Katahdin, Maine there's some mountains early on, but around Katahdin there's not much. It's a giant. So you get to Mount Katahdin, and the climb up Katahdin is going from like 800 feet up to 5,000 or so. And again, another very steep, rugged climb. So finally, at last, we were almost done. But I had that 67 miles. And I had pledged that I was going to hike the entire Appalachian Trail. So I had Maxine driving back down to Smithburg, where I hurt my leg. And at noon on August 21st, I started out and got to Penmar State Park on the Maryland-Pennsylvania border by about 5 p.m. Got to the Mason-Dixon line about 7 p.m. 1:30 p.m. I was passing things in the middle of the night. About 5:30, I did stop off by the side of the trail and slept for an hour and a half. Then got up and kept going. And 8:30 the next night on Saturday, I finally finished. The one thought I would like to leave everyone with is, whatever it is, if you set your mind to it, you can do it. An 87-year-old woman has hiked the trail carrying her stuff in a gunny sack. An 8-year-old kid has hiked it. It was one of the toughest things I have done just because it's so relentless day after day. But you can do it. You just need to set your mind to it.
I just want to thank you for turning it into a benefit for Rotary. And Maxine, I admire you for supporting this. That was very generous.
Well,
we have here something you can measure your next hike with. A token of our appreciation for your
good. Nice short.
speaking. Yes, that's right. It'll be a short one. And we want you to draw a ticket.
And the lucky number is, last four, 7057. Hey!
Great Marty, Marty, that's where he's. The Marty, you pulled his ticket. I did. He would have traded, he would have wanted to trade. That's how you would have won.
Cards.
Cards.
Yep.
There it is. Big leader. Drag cards.
Cards. All right. Well, you have a lovely bottle of wine, courtesy of the good enough.
8-inch measuring stick and a calculator built in.
All right, you scratch that. All right, well, we got too much. So we have a joke. Who's doing that?
Frank House.
Frank Gordell. Right, there'll be a cartoon as well, so next week.
Thank you very much. This has got to do with a pond, and I don't think those saw those two young people in the pond. But anyway, it goes this way. Two young fellows were fishing at a special pond, and were beaten back. When the track, they saw a game warden. One of the two started running, threw his fishing pole down, and started running. In about a half a mile or so, he got tired. He threw his hands down on his hips, was kneeling down. And the game warden came up to him and says, "Do you have a fishing license?" Did you see those two guys? No.
Probably.
Anyway, then the guy pulled his license out of his wallet, and the game warden says to him, "You're pretty stupid to be running away when you got a fishing license." He says, "Well, maybe so. But the other guy, he doesn't have a license."
Well, all right. So,
Trails to you until we end.
Happy
Trails to you.
keep smiling.